Alright, I've been agonizing over whether or not I want to re-blue this whole entire Remington 31, and the one thing that is keeping me from kind of doing it is this part. I know if I re-blue this thing and I don't do this bottom, it's gonna look bad. And so I need to take this apart. And there's no YouTube videos on how to take this apart. And I know it's just some pins and stuff and some springs, but I can tell you the machining in this is incredible. So what I'm going to try to do is start taking it apart and see how far I can get. If I can get all this out and be able to put it back together, I'm going to re-blue the bottom of this. If I can't get this all apart, I know there's one part I can't get apart right now. There's a little ball detent on the side here. Where it goes up into the receiver, and there's a screw, a teeny screw that's in here that I've tried to just move, and I mean it's tight. I don't have a screwdriver that's going to get that out, so I'm gonna have to leave it. What I don't like about that is there's a spring in there, and you know, I'm gonna have to do a bunch of cleaning process on this, and I'm afraid that if water gets back in there and I'm not able to blue back in there, there could be a rust situation. So I'm gonna have to deal with that somehow. But anyways, first thing I'm gonna do is pull out the, well, I guess you can just call it the mainspring. It's pretty easy in this. You just unscrew the back, and that comes out, and then this guy, the hammer, has no movement. So I got that out. And from here, now I get confused. I guess the next thing I'm going to try to do is take out the hammer itself. It doesn't have any more spring on it, so let's try that. And if this does not move easily, I'm going to give up on this operation because I do not want to mess up this gun, and I'll just leave it as is with nice stocks. Oh, well, I didn't even have to do anything. Okay, that just came right out. So far that was pretty easy. And I like to keep my parts together here, the pins inside of them. Alright, let's see what's next. Okay, the next piece is this release. This is for if you want to pump it to empty the shells, where you pull this forward, the shell release. So let's just see if that piece comes out. Okay, that punch may be too big. Well, for Christmas, my dad gave me a new punch set. So I guess now it's time to try it out. Okay, that one works perfect for that. So far so good. Uh-oh. I didn't like the way that clicked. Like there was a spring involved somewhere. Okay. when I felt the little spring part that I was talking about, that was the the trigger. And so you got to pull it forward, and the spring is attached right there. And that spring is really strong. So when I put this back in, it's going to be fun to line up the pin and push this down at the same time. But oh well, we're past the point of no return now. The other problem that I see in here is there is a mechanism in here that I think when I pull this forward, if I get a little hook, I might have to slide this one piece out, pull it forward and out, I'm guessing. Alright, what I found, and I don't even know how I'm going to show you guys this. Inside of here, there is a mechanism on the side that's got to come out. The way it does is in the back part where the spring goes in, there is a sleeve that's down in here, and the sleeve that's inside has a notch on it. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to tilt it. It's actually on this side. All right, come on. There we go. And you can see there's a notch. So what you got to do is use a punch and put it in that notch, and you spin it out of the way. There we go. And then the sleeve slides out the bottom. So there's the little notch that's in it right there, and it catches on a piece in here. And I wish I knew the terminology for what this is, but I do know this has to do with the mechanism for pumping the gun if you haven't pulled the trigger. Now it still does not want to lift all the way up and out, but I'm getting closer. And I think it's because I'm not entirely convinced there's not some springs in here too, because I got to get this out. This piece right here is going to have to come out. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take out this spring. There's a spring that runs right down the side here, and so I've pushed this pin out a little bit, and now I have freed up that spring, because I got to get that spring out, because there's another pin right here that I have to push through in order to get this piece out. And I really need to move my magnifying glass down here, because now we got to figure out how to get the spring out. Oh, well, that one piece I was trying to get out earlier just fell out. That came out. That's the piece that I was trying to get out earlier, and now this will probably lift up. Yep. And so that piece is now out. This piece ran inside of it in here. And I wonder if that's a spring. Yep, it is. It's a spring detent. Oh, this is going to be so much fun to put back together, I can tell. Don't try this at home, kids. There we go. Yeah, so that's going to go in there because that slides back and forth. So that's not going to be too bad. What I got to do is put this in first, and then I can drop this whole entire piece in. And this right here has a spring. This piece has a spring in the back of it with a detent right here. Actually, so far this is not going so bad. But I'm gonna tell you, I can see what they're talking about as far as this being a precision firearm, because this is nothing like taking apart the mechanisms in an 870 or any of that kind of stuff. Let me push this out the rest of the way. Well, actually, I still need to get this spring out. It's loose. is. So there's the spring. I don't know if that's going to focus. Yep, there it is right there. It's got a long and a short end to it. And the long end goes towards the front, down in this little hole. So I'll put that over there, and now I should be able to push this pin out the rest of the way. Or not. I need a pair of needle nose pliers. There we go. And this pin has 2 notches on it. You're never going to see this, but it has two little notches in it. And there we go. We'll throw that across the floor because it's probably not important. I heard that, you know, if you take something apart and it has a lot of parts, if you get it back together and you have at least 97% of the parts in it, it'll still work. Okay, now lastly, I should be able to push this pin out for this. Man, this is cool. I'm going to be able to glue this whole thing. I still haven't figured out how to get the safety out yet. And there's a spring in there and a ball detent. I can feel it. I'm pretty sure this is the trigger reset. When you pull the slide back, it hits this and resets the trigger. And now we get this last pin out. There we go. Okay. I just had to push it out. And now the ball just popped out. Okay. There we go. You can see the ball right there. And then behind that ball is a spring. Getting it back in is going to be fun because when you want to put it back in, you're going to have to push down on the ball detent with a screwdriver a little bit. And then I'm just going to try it now. I always try putting stuff back together after I take it apart to make sure it's possible. Yeah, and then it slides, and then you can slide it back in. So there we go. We were able to get the whole entire thing apart. That makes me feel better. Now I can go ahead and re-blue this because I got to sand all this and re-blue it. So that was fun.